Hello, and welcome to Boomer and Beyond Wellness and Have It Your Way workouts. So today's one single exercise is devoted to the deadlift. Now, the deadlift is a compound exercise, which means you're working multiple joints along with multiple large muscles. These muscles consist of the back extensor muscles, which basically keep us erect, and also the latissimus dorsi muscle, which is a big back muscle, and it's also known as the swimmer's muscle, the gluteals, the hamstrings, the back of the thighs, the quadriceps, the front of the thighs, deep core abdominal muscles, and also forearms and wrists. They're involved. If you're using weights and any resistance, they're involved for sure. Now, the activities of daily living that are involved here would be anything, really anything that when you bend down, pick up something off the floor, and that's kind of like a deadlift, folks. Also, I've noticed that people who do landscaping and gardening, they do a lot of deadlifts. They don't even realize they're doing them, and it's really great for you that you're doing them. Okay, so the accessories today will be the sticky yoga mat. Also, it's called a monster cord if you're not used to it. Real big, right? Monster cord. And then for the demonstration of the weight part of this, I have a set of 20-pound dumbbells. Now, this leads me into precautionary measures, medical disclaimers, whatever you want to call them. So the sticky yoga mat and the monster cord, along with other resistance bands and tubes, are often made out of some amount of latex. So if you have a latex allergy, look for non-latex or latex-free. Now, if you've ever been diagnosed in your life with a back spine issue, in particular, if you've been told not to bend down and pick up, right? So that's that forward flexion of the spine again. Or if you have postural deviations, in particular, hyperkyphosis, which is kind of like that a hunched appearance. Now, these two are often associated with, but not exclusive to, osteoporosis. If you are medicated or not for hypertension, or if you have vertigo or GERD or any other chronic conditions, I invite you to preview the video first before participating in it. But I'm going to ask you to do me a personal favor. Always look for what you can do. Start to work on the perspective around exercise and start to open up to receive information, because you might surprise yourself. However, after previewing the video, if you're really not sure what to do, then I would invite the medical healthcare practitioner who knows my body best and ask them to please preview the video as well, and then help me make an informed decision. You can do the same. So now I would like to direct you to the community tab on the channel. And here I provide several things, different articles, studies, different graphics and images with the muscles noted. You'll find that all there in the community tab. And today we've got some cool stuff on the deadlift there for you. And also, just a reminder that when you work out, you want to stay hydrated with water. I don't know, from flavored waters and coffees, teas, I just know about water. You want to stop and rest whenever you need to while you're working out on your own, but it's not an invitation for you to quit. So see if you can get that one more repetition without harming yourself. That's important. And if it's doable, take it, because that's how you get stronger. Also on the channel, you're going to find a warm-up and a cool-down video, and you can use them interchangeably. And it is advised for those of us who are 55 years and above to warm up for a full 10 minutes prior to any workout, and also make sure that you take a nice stretch post-workout. So it's all there. Now, how we're going to approach this today is we're going to demonstrate the first 5 repetitions without any resistance. It's going to be for those of you with the chronic concerns, for those of you who might be brand new to exercise or even brand new to strength training. For the second round of 5 repetitions, that's when I tie in the monster cord, because some of you, you don't want to work out with weights, you don't have room, or maybe the expense of them. And the beautiful thing about bands and tubes, etc., is that you can do a workout on the go. You can travel with them. And then the final 5 will be with the added resistance, in my case, the 20 pounds. Now, when you're working out on your own, you want to do you want to have your set. A set is a group of repetitions to be between 8 to 15 repetitions. We're doing 15 today. And you want to also bring in, if you're a newcomer, I would say 1 set. And then as you get a little bit more toward being intermediate, 2 sets. And then more seasoned, you can do 3 sets. Folks, there are people who do 4 and 5 sets of exercises. It just depends upon how seasoned you are. So having said all this, I'm just double checking my notes for you. Yep. So now let's come into the exercise. So first off, for this and almost any other exercise really, we want to be very aware of how we stand. And so it's called an athletic ready stance. So you place your hands on the high pelvic bone. You want to find them, and it's a high pelvic bone called the iliac crest. You point straight down from the inside of the pelvic bone, but don't turn your hands in toward each other like this, right? Straight down. And then you want to line up your ankles to your knees to the inside of the pelvic bone. And you want to also double check that the toes are in the same line as each other. So I'm going to check right now. Not quite. There it is. Okay. So that's an athletic ready stance with your knees soft. Also, a little tip. A lot of times people will stand sort of like with a back bend, and I call this twerking, right? So we don't want to twerk. We just want to take a little bit of a posterior pelvic tilt, also known as a pelvic tuck. But you don't want to go crazy with that. You don't want to go here into like a standing abdominal crunch. So that is what is meant by an athletic ready stance. So now, how to do the actual deadlift. Here we go. Can you see my feet? Yes. So I place the hands on the front of the thighs. Now, before we go any further, I do have to say, for those of you with back spine issues and the postural deviation of hyperkyphosis, if you're not sure, do not do this exercise, because for you, it might be, I'm not saying it is, but I'm saying it might be a complete contraindication. So before you do it, find out, okay? So having said that, hands in front of the thighs, chin remains up. Well, I'm going to throw in another thing here. So chin is up for those of you medicated or not for hypertension, vertigo, and GERD. Chin up. And now I'm going to hip hinge, slide down. My hands are in touch with my legs and thighs. And then on the exhale, I come up, and then I'm going to take a little bit of that posterior pelvic tuck, and I'm going to squeeze the glutes. Now, what if you don't have that range of motion? So what's super important is hands front of the thighs, you hip hinge, knees are bent, you come up, posterior pelvic tilt, squeeze. So you see how small the movement can be. That's still a deadlift as far as I'm concerned. And I'm going to continue. So we want the chin lifted the entire time so that the cervical spine of the neck and the lumbar spine of the low back are basically in the same position. They're both a natural lordotic curve. And we exhale on the effort, which is the way up. Breathing, I prefer these days in and out through the nose, just like in yoga. A lot of science pointing toward it. I'm going to go for 1 more here, and I think it's 6, and that's okay. 1 for good luck. Exhale up and hold. So there it is for those of you who need to do it without resistance. Now, when I set up my monster cord, I'm going to place my feet on the cord, but the cord is going to be underneath the arches of the shoes. And because I want a lot of resistance out of the band, you're going to see that I crisscross the hands as well. Yes, okay. Now I'm going to crisscross. facing you. Exhale up. And when I use the weights, I will face the side again. Take your time. Chin up. Chest up. Hip hinge. Exhale up. Pause at the peak of the contraction. One more. Exhale up. Pause. Wonderful. Be careful when you release bands, tubing, they snap away, so be careful. Now the weights. Here we go. Hip hinge. Chin up. Posterior pelvic tilt. Glute squeeze. Belly button in to protect the back. Last one here. Hold. Now when you have heavier weights, be careful setting them down on a flat surface. And that's what we have for you today, folks, here on Boomer and Beyond Wellness. And if you like the content, I would really like it if you subscribe to my channel. And if you'd like to, just please feel free to share the videos. And if you have it in you to give it a kind comment, I would appreciate that so much. And also don't forget to hit the notification bell so that you can remain current with the content. All of that helps the algorithms and the analytics. And I know those words are like barf, but it's the truth. It really does help bring attention to the channel. So I'd appreciate your efforts with that. And if you're of the mind to do so, you're always invited to join me over at Facebook and Instagram to follow me. And if you are in need of personal services, I do offer remote as a senior personal fitness trainer, and also hatha yoga instructor. And in the opposite end of the spectrum, I also provide remote prenatal yoga. So you all know that I live a whole food, plant exclusive lifestyle. And I just want to remind you, please, to take care of yourselves, stay hydrated with water, eat your greens, eat your beans, and until next time, be well. Thanks so much for your support.